Welcome to Dreamful Podcast, bedtime stories for slumber. I would like to start off this episode by thanking our newest Patreon supporters, Allie and Anna Van, Tanya Button, Julianne Martel, and Lucy Bugless. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have the sweetest of dreams. If you would also like to contribute to the creation of Dreamful while receiving bonus episodes and other goodies like digital downloads and behind-the-scenes extras, please visit dreamfulstories.com, where you can find info about the show, and on the donation page, there's a link to become a Patreon subscriber or make a one-time donation. Today marks the beginning of a new year, and maybe you're wanting to better yourself or learn something new. You're obviously a fan of podcasts, so I think you should give Knowable a try. Knowable is a membership where podcasts meet online learning, and it costs less than any of my streaming services. Learn life-changing skills with audio courses from 200 plus of the world's leading experts. Some of these courses include how to launch a startup with the co-founder of Reddit, motivation and leadership with a NASA astronaut, and even courses on creating picture books or meal prepping. I really enjoy listening to audio as I work on a project or clean the house, and now I can learn something new while I do it. If you'd like to give Knowable a try and help support Dreamful while you're at it, visit dreamfulstories.com/knowable. I have also put a link in the show notes. Dreamful is trying something new in 2021. Each month, we will explore the mythos behind the 12 constellations of the zodiac in our new Constellation Series. This episode is kicking off the series with Capricorn, the sea goat. So, snuggle up in your blankets and have sweet dreams. In the southern celestial hemisphere lies the constellation of Capricornus. Though it is one of the more faint constellations of the zodiac, it contains various stars and galaxies, even a deep sky object, Messier 30, a globular cluster of galaxies and stardust. The Babylonians in the Middle Bronze Age described this constellation as a goatfish, a symbol of their god Ea. Though this was thousands of years ago, not much has changed about the constellation. In Greek mythology, the story behind Capricornus begins with the sea goat, Prickis. Prickis had been created by Kronos, the god of time, and so they shared the ability to manipulate time itself. The legend goes that Prickis was the father of the race of sea goats, intelligent and honorable creatures who lived in the sea. Prickis's children were curious and playful little creatures, chasing fish and nibbling on fields of seaweed. One day, they ventured too far and discovered the seashore. However, Prickis determined that his children would never visit the shore again. "Heed my words," he warned. "If you return to the beach, you will lose immortality and never return to the sea." But the children didn't obey Prickus. Day after day, like a moth to the flame, the sea goats were inexorably drawn to the sandy shore. Day after day, they dragged themselves out of the water and onto the beach. And day after day, they rolled on their backs and let the warm sunlight wash over their bellies. After some time of ignoring their father's demands to remain in the sea goats slowly lost their ability to speak. Their fishtails split and molded into hind legs, and they became mortal. Prickus's heart ached for his children as he watched them from the lapping waves. There they were, mindlessly munching on the grass, bounding across boulders on the beach. After losing several of his children to the land, Prickus decided to use his ability to reverse time and force his children to remain in the sea. He thought it, and it was so. The clouds rolled back and the sun recoiled from the west. The moon skipped across the sky, and so on. Soon the fishtails of the little goats grew back, and they returned to the water. Time reversed until they were back to where they belonged. Once again, Prickus gathered the sea goats around. He forbade them from ever stepping foot on shore. And they obeyed, though only for a while. The little sea goats waited for their father's diligence to waver, and again found their way to the seashore and became mortal land goats. Prickus tried again. This time, he'd keep a closer eye on them. This time, he'd convince them to never step onto the shore. He turned back time over and over and over. No matter what he did, no matter how hard he tried to keep them in the sea, his children always found their way to land. His children always became mortal. Prickus finally understood that his beloved children were destined to shed their tails and live above the salty waters. Now Prickus was alone, the only of his kind left in the world. Heartbroken, Prickus begged his creator, Kronos, to remove his immortality. The weight of his grief and loneliness was too much to bear, but Kronos had another plan, and instead placed Prickus in the sky, and there he remained for eternity, watching his little goat children living happily upon the earth.